So one of the things that I recently had conducted was the interview of all the customer success staff. And the goal was to figure out what are some of the issues that we have, what are the most critical issues that we have to fix, and what does the existing process look like for building websites. And so what you'll see here is existing process, all the different steps that currently the team will go through from start all the way to finish. Then here are the two most important issues that came up through the interviews that I did with Candy, Jana, and the whole team there. And here's the suggested new process. So in really quick, here in this video, the two big issues that came up is number one, oftentimes the project managers appears they don't know exactly what the client expectations are. So it came up over and over that they would like to have more information of what the client expects and what the deliverable is. And then number two, what came up is that at times we're delivering a buggy or an incorrect product to clients. So the question is, well, what we can do in this process to fix both of these items? And so I have highlighted here in yellow the items that change in the process. And so maybe I'd talk you through this real quick. The first thing is that it would be helpful as part of the contract, and it doesn't have to be elaborative, but as part of the contract, if we could have a short brief of what is it that the client expects as part of their website, and that to be in the contract and to come from sales. And then what also would be helpful is that there's more of a handoff between sales, the client, and the project manager. And so rather than the project manager is just scheduling a writing interview, for sales actually to schedule a time between the client, the project manager, and the salesperson themselves, so that there's actually a handoff happening from our team internally from sales to project management, and the client is actually involved in that. I think that having all three parties, we would want to limit the time, you know, if possible, make it just a 30-minute meeting. But I think this could go a long way of making sure that there's a warm handoff and that all three parties, project management, client, and sales, are on the same page as we define the scope of the project. Now, after that, it's all on the project manager at that point. So the project manager would be documenting the scope of work, what comes out of the writing interview, and all of that work continues as it has been in place with the old process. The other two things that would change here in this new process, just so we can fix these two immediate issues, is having a internal quality assurance and polish step after our developers have pulled everything together. I think that Bryant could do this. I think it would be an opportunity for him to grow, and that he would welcome this opportunity. And I think it could go a long ways in just making sure that some of these obvious bugs that we come across, that they're not there, and that we're testing, you know, briefly maybe on mobile, briefly on a desktop, before we send out anything to the client for preview. And that would be the next step. And then, you know, if we're sending stuff out to the client for preview, then, you know, there's going to be some feedback. There will be a few times iteration, but I do think it's still important to have a final round of QA. And at this point, it could be the project manager that's doing it, just to double check that all the requests and revisions from the client have been taken care of. So the project manager could take care of that. The first round of QA, before we even send it to the client for the very first time, that would be done by Bryant. So that's where I am at right now, and where I think that we have the biggest opportunity, what the biggest issues are, and yeah, we'll take it from there.